Mr. Caleb contacted me today and said he's out of town and not going to be able to be here. Welcome everyone here tonight. And I think you said Mr. Jones would be a little late, but Mr. Jones will be here. But other than that, I reckon we're all here. We'll get this thing going. First thing on the agenda, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Lewis, and he'd lead us in prayer.
We've got some prayer requests. If everybody would remember Randy Glover and his family. His father, who was a remarkable man, passed away. Kim White and her family. Her mother passed away. Gail Burns, Melinda Angel, Jude McCaleb, Dana Shoulders, Courtney Taylor. And is there anyone else that y'all can think of? All right, if you would bow with me, please. Father, we're grateful to you for yet another day that we can be on this earth to try to do things to help one another and make a difference in this world and try to represent ourselves in a way that would bring glory and honor to you. We'd ask that you would be with us tonight as we work through this budget and the things that we have on the agenda to do everything that would be pleasing in your sight. Father, please remember all of these people that we have named on prayer requests and those that we're not aware of. Thank you so much for giving my mother peace that we pray for every month over here for a long time. Thank you for that. Please go with us throughout this meeting, lead, guide, and direct us in all things. Thank you so much for the gift of salvation and your Son, Jesus Christ. First, in his name we only pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda, set to pay for our board members appointed by the County Finance Committee for each meeting. I'm all that up for discussion. I think Mr. Lewis needs to get paid by the school board, not by the county. Mr. Smith, that's just part of his turf, having to make these meetings, which I know he is a member of that finance committee, just like everybody else is. So I'm open up to discussion on pay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay Mr. Lewis or whoever's in that position the same as what the county commissioners make, which I believe is $50 a meeting.
Per meeting?
Per meeting.
Okay.
And any reimbursement that he's missed needs to be paid also.
Well, someone had asked me also, been a discussion to maybe give him $100 a month, not per meeting, just $100 a month. And now if they didn't meet once a month, which wouldn't get paid, but also back it up to when you first come on to the finance department and back paying for that. But I had been approached to also, like I say, to give them $100 a month. So that's my 2 cents worth.
I'll agree with you on that.
Well, I'm gonna back up here and go back to the $50. If 4 or 5 people sitting around that table is getting $50, why don't he just get $50 too? I mean, that's what everybody else is getting. If it's 2 meetings a month, they get $50 a meeting. If it's 4 a month, they get $200. If it's 1, they get $50. That way, everybody sitting around that table would get the same amount of money, and they wouldn't have no jealousy or something because somebody else is getting more money than the other or something. The way I see it.
It's fair, it's fair.
That's my opinion.
Well, the county's not paying it, the school board's paying it.
Yes, the school board will be paying. That's correct.
As long as I remain on it, everybody needs to understand this is just, I just have to be the one that's landed on it. It could be somebody else or month or two. So it's not Scotty, it's the board representative.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Whoever the person might be. So, Someone might give me a
I made a motion.
I'll second his motion.
second. Any more discussion on it? This will be money, so we'll, should I-
Yeah. No.
no,
Yes.
Yes.
yes, you abstain.
I'll stay.
So we've got one no, one and three.
Won't pass.
Pass.
Gotta have 5 votes.
Yep.
Won't we table this to the later on? Mr. Jones will be here with the vote again.
Okay,
Table this.
all right,
Pick it
we'll
back.
table it till Mr.
Till the end of the
Jones
meeting.
Yeah. Until Mr. Jones is here. But we'll have to
gets
have
here,
5.
and we'll vote on it again. Discussion of which you all know, that our lawyer, Mr. Winkler, has resigned, and we're gonna have to have a new legal representation for the Smith County Board of Education. I'm gonna open that up for discussion.
Well, I'd like to, if, Mr. Chairman, if you would recognize me on it. We have a candidate that I'm aware of, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that individual is with us here tonight, Robbie Moore, who also served on this board for quite some time, so, she's been practicing law here for a number of years. She had quite a bit of time on the school board, which gives her some unique insight, I think. So to get this into discussion, if there is any, I'm gonna make a motion.
Well, no, we're still under discussion right now. Then I'll let you.
That'd be fine, that'd be fine.
And I've got something, you know, I've spoken with Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore's well qualified. She does you know, she's well qualified, but my only issue is I think we need to open it up for an application process, because there may be other lawyers that doesn't even know this opportunity is available. So, with Mr. Moore could be a great asset to us. I do think we need to open it up for other people. Because like I said, there's other lawyers in this town that don't even know this opportunity is available.
They should know. I guarantee there's lawyers in here that knows this stuff. She's been on this board for 8 years.
I understand, and she may do a great job,
Yeah,
and I'm
she'd
not
do an
saying anything
excellent
about
job.
that. And, but, I think we need to, open it up for a, interview process, or at least give it, to the next meeting and see if anybody else is, interested in it.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, sir.
Not in rebuttal or anything, but we're just gonna kind of ride with our shirt tail out and no legal representation in the meantime?
Yeah, because I'm looking around right now, we don't have one sitting here
We
now.
ain't got nobody
We
here.
do not.
I agree,
I'm not comfortable. with
but
it.
I'm not gonna rush to a decision either.
I was contacted today, I will not give no names at all, but I was contacted by 3 different board members today. And, they're not comfortable with hiring Ms. Moore right now. Like I say.
And I'm going to, I'm one, and it's not that I don't want Ms. Moore to get the job. I don't want to rush into that decision today. I feel like we need to open it up for anybody else that may want that job. And like I said, Ms. Moore, you may be the perfect person for this job. And if you are, I hope you get it. But I think we need to open it up and not rush to a judgment.
When did Mr. Winkler resign? Because he didn't resign yesterday, I didn't know he was rushing into anything.
I didn't know today for sure what day. He told me he'd still be available, so we talked about if Miss Moore was only went with, he could do an orientation. Whether I even thought he'd be here tonight. I'm not saying that he lied to me, I just was under the impression he'd be here in June.
Well, our next board meeting's next Tuesday night, ain't it?
Is that posted long enough that we could, did you post it? I assume for that length of time and we'll make a decision.
Maybe if we put it on our website, it could, 7
We
days
put it
or
on
so.
Tomorrow, tonight, so.
Yes, it needs to be taken, I mean, we don't have any kind of representation right now. And, it looks to me like, that would give us a week and 1 day to, that would be out there posted. And, if anybody was interested or not, and then hopefully next Tuesday night, the full board would be here and everybody vote the way they feel, because I don't like getting up here and saying, you know, that I had 3 that was not comfortable with Ms. Moore, but I'd like them to be here and express their own opinions on how they felt, you know, so.
That would, and then we could, if, I don't think there'll be a lot of applications, but there may be 100, but if that way we could still schedule early that, say, start at 4 o'clock or something.
As long as we give opportunity to other people, I believe we'll be fine. And like I said, Ms. Moore may be the most qualified person, and I hope she is. So, I just don't feel like we need to rush into something.
We'll table this until next Tuesday night. Will anybody interested in putting an application?
So
We'll
we
do it
would
real
have to have a
quick.
motion, I think, if that's in a second posted, or a motion and second, however it's going.
Make a motion to postpone till next Tuesday.
Well, I think you gotta go, who made the first motion?
Nobody's
Yeah,
made a motion yet.
Because we're under discussion.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm gonna give Lewis the floor.
I think, Randy, you had to have a second, and it'd be a table.
I'm lost as where we are now.
Okay. Mr. Glover has made a motion to table it till next Tuesday night. You also said that you was gonna make a motion to go ahead and hire her, is that correct?
I was.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, would, it be okay for you to table this till next Tuesday night? Hopefully that we'll have the whole commission here, the whole, board here to, vote on this, would that be?
Well, I mean, I don't want to, you know, no other attorney has contacted me about anything. So I don't want to eliminate anybody that might have an interest. However, I want on record and remind everybody that we do not have legal representation. So we have a problem tomorrow.
Call their bridges
we're-
down.
I mean, we'll be in trouble. Mr. Director, have you been contacted by anybody else?
But we still have Mr. Winkler's available. He ain't abandoned us
He
yet.
said he would, I
He's still-
talked to
he's
him
still-
today, he
Mr.
said,
Winter told me he was done.
he said he would still be available, he said he still has some open files and ongoing, he said he'd be there as needed, but the job that forced him out of this, basically, that was forcing him to make a decision, they want him to go to work immediately, be on call for them basically full time.
All I can tell y'all is when I contacted him, he told me he would not be here because he was done, but he resigned that night. That's all I can say.
I've had no contact with him, so I don't know. Myself, I've not had any contact with him, so. We have a motion to table this to next Tuesday night. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, okay. Motion and second. Any more discussion about it? If not, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
How many have I got here? No, 1, 2, 3.
That's fine.
David?
No.
No. Mr. Lewis?
No,
3 yeses, 2 noes. And I will vote yes. So we still don't have a, we'll have to wait on that till Mr. Jones gets here. Because that's again, we've not got enough people not enough to do anything, so. We'll just table that one till Mr. Jones gets here. Let's go now, item 3, budget discussions. That's what this was brought here for, discuss this. I'm ready to discuss it, Mr. Smith, Lewis, Glover, whoever wants to start talking about it, let's get on with it.
Can I go first?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This, of course, we obviously, this was done, by law, had to be done within 10 days, and 10 business days. And I think most of you, maybe some did, some didn't, the commission rejected the budget. It was the budget that this board asked us to put together. And Norm was going at. And I guess you'll talk more about that, it's to address your building.
This is what we got like.
There's some things before we start, I want to make real clear. I think there's a propaganda or misperception out there. The board does not need to raise taxes. The board's in fantastic shape. It's got historical high. I don't think ever in the history of Smith County we've got the fund balance we've got. I don't foresee that ever being any trouble in the near future. Yeah, we've not asked for anything in nearly 20 years. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I take a lot of pride in not asking enough. Hopefully we won't ever have to ask for nothing, but I will plan on it for while I'm here. Yeah, can always be a catastrophe, but we're in great shape financially. I don't see anybody ever questioning the management of what we've done, what this board's done financially. And that's why I caution you from taking a lot of advice from outside, from people that don't know or have the capability of understanding the budget. You need to take the advice from people that understand how it works. This is part of our 5-year plan. It has been the whole time. I've heard all week we padded or whatever, the padding thing, if that's the case, if you're just gonna take out anybody that has money, that don't put extra money in their line items, don't understand the budget, you don't try to go to that exact penny, you try to create, a lot of budgets say 10%, 15%, 20% in case you have, and it would be wrong to ask for money that you wasn't gonna spend, okay? If you ask somebody for money, knowing it's coming out of taxpayers, knowing it's coming from the government on reimbursement, that would be wrong. But it's your money already, it's the county's money, but it's designated for the school system. You're not asking the county, you're not asking the county commission, you're not asking the taxpayers for anything. Let me give you 2 examples. You know, if I budgeted $500 a month for my electric bill and it only come in at $350, $150, I didn't cheat nobody else, it was my money to start with. Now, if I was on a program asking for a reimbursement, it'd be wrong. That's if you take out anything, it won't change expenditures whatsoever. We're gonna spend the same money we're gonna spend. The only thing you're gonna do is put a lot of heat on Norman, have to go back over there and ask for amendments. So, but now I'm gonna tell you that you can, if that's what you want to trim, I'm gonna show you the areas you can trim. Tommy, you made a good example to me in a conversation we had. You know, it wasn't hidden, it wasn't, it is what it's gonna cost. If you go with benefits for the non-certified people, you're talking about 1.6 million. Okay, we know those won't kick in, we don't know the exact date. That would be for the entire year, okay? We know normally it'll kick in somewhere between October and January. So you could take 400,000, 600,000 off of that. It's not, you're trying to hide it, that's the realistic number that's gonna cost next year, okay? But again, that would be wrong if we were asking the county to pay for that, and hiding that 400,000, we're not. It's just money we go back into our fund balance. Again, none of that is going to trim anything off out of the expenditures. It's just a rock throwing contest otherwise, okay? Again, you're just going to cause Norma on the paperwork to go over and ask permission to spend your own money. Basically, what's going to come down to. And that, you know, that's what I felt like this is going, how many times a year we ain't going to tell you how to spend your money. That's all I heard. They ain't going to tell you how to spend your money. Well, it done hard. So, we're sitting on, I don't know, 8 or 10 times what everybody else in the county's got in fund balance. That's why we don't need help. I take pride in not needing help. You guys have done a good job management-wise. There's 4 ways you can actually save money. That's not one of them. If you can either cut or stop the building projects where they're at, which is going to eliminate FISA funding on the buildings. But that's in capital outlay. What we got in our own?
$650.
How much?
$650.
You can cut that. You could stop teacher raises, staff raises, or you could cut teacher staff raises, you know, 5, whatever. You could stop the benefits opposite, the 1.6 benefits for non-employed or non-certified. and you can cut the fielding and the lighting projects. Now, those are actual cuts. Those are the only thing different. Those are things different, and every 8 or 10 budgets I've done since I've been here, those are the only things different, and I just named it. Those are things that are truly cuttable if you want to cut them. Anything else is not a budget cut. All it is just, like I told you, just a rock, so you can control the price. Because we're going to spend what we're going to spend. Because we obviously do a good job with that, and very true how we spend our money. And I wish I spent my own money like we spend school systems, but I don't. But other than that, you're just going to go back and ask her to change it back in another box. But again, I want to make it very clear that propaganda and the misleading, that we're not asking for a tax increase. So, anybody got any questions for me at this point? Tommy, did I answer yours?
Yes, you did. But I'll say right now, we're not gonna cut the capital outlay, especially out of these wellness centers. Because people don't understand that $3.6 million with extra money on these wellness centers. And if we gotta put in $650,000 to finish it, come on, guys.
Maybe, we hope we don't. We're real close.
You do the math on that. You got two big mega buildings sitting here for $650,000, and we ain't gonna cut that. Yeah.
That'll make sense.
That would be an option, that's one, we just tell you anything we put over.
That's asinine.
And I think, Dawn, you'll get more into that. What'd you tell me you had about $500,000 in the teacher?
Line item.
Yeah, line item.
I'll show them that just in a moment.
You know, I heard 3 teachers, I think, last week, or week before, just based on the numbers where we know we got to split, when we get to a certain split number, make sure you can't be dead on the number on that, we don't know what's gonna walk in the door. And we get reimbursed on T's of that too, so we don't, that's not what it appears, you know what I mean? You get part of that on reimbursement.
We're not doing anything different than we've done for the past 8 to 10 years.
There's an increase, and she tell you the increase, she puts a little bit each year in.
You know, people
But
do
again, it's
budget.
money that's sitting there that we've not asked anybody for. That's ridiculous, sir. That's not gonna cut expenditure, it's just gonna look better on this,
Right.
on the sheet.
Balance sheet.
If you do not have the capability to understand the budget.
I make a motion, Chairman?
We're still under discussion.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Then Norman's gonna go,
Yeah.
Norman's gonna go in depth, in case there are any questions. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about turn here, I guess we're just talking around about, and you're talking about what you're not willing to get. I am not gonna vote cut this insurance. We've never had the ability to pay it. We violated federal law, which is why we've had a fining every year for not paying it, now we have the ability to pay it. And I'm not having to violate federal law, so that is off the table as far as I'm concerned. I'm not gonna violate federal law, knowingly and willingly, not gonna do it. I mean, I do have some other questions in here, but
So which one that's got the benefits?
the insurance for all the employees.
Now, that has, we've traded off in the past, we took the finding for that, okay? That's a federal finding, because it's costing $35,000, I think it's almost 70 this year, what's 60?
70,000.
Threw money out the window.
And that's what we traded off, 1.6 for the 70.
But I don't wanna,
59, I think it's 59.
I think 60 now.
It increases a little bit every year.
Yeah, I think it went up.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't wanna take over nothing, and certainly, it's kinda like the,
We're all discussing all this.
yeah, kinda like, I wasn't here this last meeting because Mom passed
Well,
away.
she's gonna go through it too, and you can stop at certain spots, if you want to do it that way, and then.
I mean, well, and that's fine, but I want to understand and then we'll go through it, because I'd like to, I want to understand, and I want, we've got county commissioners here, we've got the public watching, we've got everybody else, I want everybody to be on the same page. But from what I'm seeing right now, estimated budget expenditures through the end of May. Ms. Norman, you correct me because you're a lot smarter than I am. You're looking at what, is it 20,385,000, is that right? I'm on
What are
page
you
12.
looking at? What page are you on?
12.
Make sure I'm on the same page you are. Page 12. Your page 12 must be different than my page 12.
I've got page 12 you sent me, that's the only one I've got. I've got another one over here, I don't know if it was one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right there. Page
Yeah.
one.
is it page 12?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
$20,385,788 for the end of the day, is that correct?
Can I look at what you're looking at? I'm on page 39.
Here you go.
Right here.
Oh, you're on the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the expenditures.
I
Let
was
me
not
get there.
here when
Okay,
y'all did
okay.
the budget.
I was looking at
so-
another report, so
Yeah.
we're good.
It's all right.
So that was sometime in May, yes, the expenditures at that point were $20 million. But I have something much better for us to look at tonight. So each board member has a statement of expenditures. So this will get us through June the 6th.
For June the 6th, what's our actual expenditure?
So if I'll show you. So if you'll get here, I can't call it all off without looking. So it says Smith County Board of Education Statement of Expenditures and Encumbrances. And if you go to the very end, page 39, and one thing I do want to make clear is when you look at the 24 budget, the 12% raise was not in the 24 budget. The budget was passed in April, I do believe, or May, and there was an approximate 4% raise in the budget at that time. And then the board came back in July, once we got TISA funding's final amount, and passed the 12% raise. So when you look at the FY24 budget, the complete picture is not there because the amendments that the board passed this last month hasn't been taken to the county commission yet. So the county commission actually canceled their steering committee meeting this month, and I'll be taking those amendments on the 24th at the normal commission meeting. So the misunderstanding is you can't just take what we had for the FY24 budget and add 10% because there was actually 8% for this year plus another 10% for 25.
All right, so if I'm following you, we ran half a year on 4%, half a year on 12%, basically, and that's skewing, when we say we're giving 10% across the board, it's skewing that proposed because it's carrying over part of that 12% in there, is that right? Kind of, why don't you explain?
So we have been paying 12% from the time the board passed the budget. It's just that line item was under me knowing that there was money to move to make amendments before the year was over. So if you go to the end of this statement of expenditures and encumbrances.
I think too, on my part, you told me to interrupt you,
Okay,
anything.
please do.
I think part of the misunderstanding this guy is that 12%, let's just say it was $10,000, it would have been on less than two, or 12 hours. And then the 10% this year is based off the 12, not the 10. Does that make sense?
A little bit, I guess when I'm just, cut to the heart of it, then we'll go through it and everything. I'm just trying to understand how we went from 20,385 to 40,960.
Okay, so if you'll go to page 39, the last page of Statement of Expenditures and Encumbrances, this report was ran June the 6th, so today is what, the 10th? So it's already a little different today, but as of June the 6th, we had spent, if you take the $26,364,300, add the encumbrance of $564,220, you're right at $27 million. We still have payroll to go out in July and August. That will take another approximately $4 million. So our 10-month teachers, no, total.
Okay.
So about approximately, salaries and benefits, that's approximate, is about $2 million a month. So if you add that, you are up to almost $31 million. Yes, so that's the misunderstanding that we have across the public and across the county commission, is that, TISA did provide us with approximately $4 million last year. And that was put into the budget, but it wasn't necessarily put into the line items of salaries because you didn't tell me to do that before the budget was prepared. So there is the misunderstanding. Are there any other questions on that? You know, our budget that we turned into county commission last year showed us going into fund balance for FY '24 approximately $2 million. But best of my calculations, I'm going to show you the summary financial statement in a minute. We're going to be coming in $600,000 to $900,000 to the good this year if nothing happens in the next 3 weeks, and if the sales tax the county proposed to us does fully come in. So, you know, we are coming in, once again, we propose a $2 million hit to fund balance, but instead we're going to be coming in, hopefully, to the good of $600,000 to $800,000, maybe a little bit more, but I can't guarantee that, of
No, I
course.
understand.
Yeah. So I have all kinds of information here. I can go through. We can spend, I promise, hours on this, and I don't know really how to start. But before I do, does any other board member have a question like that I can get over with up
If you got any
front?
questions, stop her and ask her as she goes. I mean, she just started one, and, you know, once you had stuff that we already had questions been asked,
No.
and if anybody got any questions throughout, then stop and ask.
Let's make sure we all understand this. For this year, right now, it looks like we're gonna finish up expenditures of about $31 million.
Let me double check you. Let me double check.
That's what we just talked about.
Yep, I've got it at, yes, approximately. And again, we've still got numbers coming in, and
If nothing big happens in the next 3 weeks, so.
we still have summer school expenditures also, which the county doesn't understand. Those expenditures will be paid out probably the last day of June, and we hope to get full reimbursement for that. In the past, we have from the state, but that depends upon the socioeconomic status of the kids that are attending. So if for some reason the state didn't fully fund us for summer school, that would cost us some more money there, but it's mandated. We have to provide the summer school, and we just hope that every year we get full reimbursement on that. So we still have some expenditures, but it should balance out. You know, the reimbursement that we get coming in should balance out.
And you're going to go over this year's budget about where we thought we would be running around 32 million this year?
Yes.
What did we- Last
right.
year at this time, what did we suggest, 30?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I was gonna make sure we're clear on that too.
Yeah,
Because I'm like Scotty, and I'm going with this, guys, because I've heard the 20 million versus 40 million, and I've told everybody this is not true, guys. We did not run this school system on a $20 million budget
No.
this year. It didn't happen. Because I'm pretty sure we was at 31 or 32 million. So I'm gonna make sure I'm
yeah, the
setting my
county
facts
gets to
right.
stop their salaries and expenditures and payroll the month of June. But we put out a payroll the month of June, the month of July, and the month of August, still on FY '24. So that's what, does every single employee get paid during those months? No, I can go into more details later, but the majority of our employees, our 10-month teachers are paid like that, the majority of the employees.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that was clear there.
It's all adding up.
I've heard this.
If you know what's
Actually, from county
happening
commissioner
here, it's
today.
all adding up, yeah.
Okay.
So let's go to summary financial statement. Now, where are we? So let's go here. You have a 2-page report somewhere on your desk. That is the summary financial statement. And this was ran today.
You're on page number.
And there's only 2 pages, so I'm gonna start on page 1. It's called again, the summary financial statement, and this is for 141. We're talking about the general purpose fund more than anything else tonight. So if you go down to local options sales tax 40210, the budget was 2.8 million, and right now we have received 2.3 million. So how much more do we expect to come in on sales tax? About $500,000, right? So maybe write that down besides sales tax. We're looking hopefully to getting $500,000 more from the county on sales tax. The other big one is TISA, Tennessee Investment and Student, go down to 46510. The budget was $22.7 million. Y'all see that, yes? $22,714,327. Look to the right of it, how much have we received as of today? $20,926,630. The difference there is about 1.8 million. So if you add 1.8 and a half a million, unless my math is wrong, that is about $2.3 million, right? Now there are some other revenues in here that we will get a little more on, but those are the 2 big ones. All right, go to the second page at the top where your revenue is listed. So the revenue estimate for '24 was $31.4 million. You see that in the first column, it's bold. The actual that we received up to this point is $29,290,860. And if you add the 2.3 million to that, we're right at $31,590,000. So there's revenue approximately for FY24, the year we are on. There will be a little more, but I don't want to go through every line item and add up 1,000 here and 200 there and 3,000 here. That's the majority of what's happening.
And this is a rough draft, so you found a couple of small things that was great.
Well, that's in the budget, so yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. And then the expenditures are underneath, this is page 2, if you'll look down through there. So there's that total, Mr. Lewis, again, of $26.9 million. And if we add another $4 million approximately for salaries and benefits for the next 2 months for the majority of our personnel, you're right at $31 million. So it doesn't take a lot of math to know if you receive 31.5 and you're spending right at 31, that we're at least $500,000 as of today to the good. That's approximating.
And that's just big money.
That's big money.
That ain't the
We
little
still
money.
have summer school, we still have indirect cost, we still have, yes, there's still 20,000 here, 30,000 there, you know, coming in. This is just looking, eyeballing. What's the easiest way for me to show you of, are we in the hole, are we to the good? You know, have we spent the $2 million in fund balance that was projected in the budget? And the answer, unless something happens between now and the end of June, or we don't get the full sales tax revenue, I like it. Any questions on the summary? So this is where we are as of today, Mr. Lewis.
I'm with you, I just still have questions.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Now, do you want to ask questions about this before I go into the budget, or anybody
No,
have
go
questions
ahead.
here? And this
Go
again is
ahead.
approximate. We'd have to go through each line item to make it exact.
I mean, pardon me, I'm not questioning
Yeah.
anything you say, you know, I have great confidence in you, and I hate to be the only one sitting here asking questions. But again, I was not here at the last meeting, and looking at the budget that was given me, it just looks kind of skewed, so I'm lost. So pardon me for that, I'm not questioning.
I know. And I want you and the public and the county commission to understand, I didn't just put numbers down like someone mentioned in the last finance meeting or county commission meeting. I probably have 40 plus hours between talking to supervisors, working with a state representative, and planning this budget. Every single line item was purposefully calculated and put into this budget. And then one more thing I want everyone to know, and the public, the county commissioners, everyone, you have your teacher salary chart. So before we get into the budget, each one of you have a teacher salary chart. So Mr. Glover, if you have a bachelor degree, 0 years experience, down in the bottom left corner, what is the beginning teacher pay as of right now, FY24?
Bachelor beginning, starting out, with zero,
Yep, 0 experience.
46,144.
Okay, so a teacher might make $46,144 that we hire in August that we don't know we're hiring yet. Okay, Joe, will you go to me and tell me if they have a doctorate and they have 25 years experience? Top right corner, what it is they might can make?
$70,799.
And can any commissioner tell me the next teacher that we hire exactly what year experience or education they will have? I can't either. So unlike the county elected officials, whose pay does not get determined by their education or their experience, it's already set. We are always moving variably with the number of students that we have and with the staff that we're hiring. Now, I would rather have a teacher that has 25 years' experience with a doctoral teaching my kids. But you all can decide how you want to cut the budget. So there is,
When do you normally get the setups? It's like September,
say that again now.
before we get to the actual, we've got to pay.
Usually it comes out,
well
end of
after that,
June,
so-
1st of July, the minimum teacher salary, yes.
And it's not, that's not any county's fault, that's not any commissioners or board or anybody, it's just inefficient, but the state sends it to us.
Can I ask a
Yes.
question? This chart that we have here, is that anybody who's on a 10-month contract,
Good.
11-month, or 12-month?
Good question. This is a 10-month employee salary chart. So if you have an administrator, a principal, they do not just get paid 10 months because they work 12 months. So your administrators are either on 11 or 12 months. Should they make more than a person that's working 10 months?
We
Yes.
also have teachers in summer school.
Yes. And also you have teachers that drive a bus that get paid extra. Instead of hiring a full funded position to do a job, Mr. Smith might give someone a supplement to do that job and get by with $3,000 supplement and not have to hire another $60,000 person. So there's a whole lot going on here. You can't just take last year's budget and multiply it by 10%. Oh my gosh, my life would be easy if you could do that. And then the last thing I want to say before I start in here, step raises. So if you look at a bachelor teacher at 9 years, they would make $50,782. But if they're at 25 years, they're making $54,989. Step raises. Every single year, I calculate 1% in the budget for step raises. Is that exact? No. So if you tell me to calculate a 10% raise, I calculate 11. Because every year that teacher is making more money, whether you give a raise or not, until they get to 25 years.
So if we have a 8th grade science teacher position come open, and we have 2 people who's applying for that position. One has a bachelor with 0 degrees, fresh out of college.
$46,144.
The second person that's applying for the same position has 13 years experience from Wilson County and a master's plus.
Okay, a master's plus, or my eyes are not wanting to focus.
13 years master's plus.
59,872.
So how do you budget for that big discrepancy? Let's say we don't want that. I mean, not saying we don't want that person who's fresh out of college, but we'd much rather have that experienced teacher. How do you budget for that?
Well, I'll show you. Can I show you?
Yes.
All right, let's go to statement of expenditures. And I'm going to do a couple of these with you. And then again, I'll let you all tell me where to go. So the statement of expenditures is 39 pages long. And at the top of it, it says statement of expenditures and encumbrances. The first line item, teachers, 71100-116. Y'all have a ruler too. So if you need to line up that ruler across through there so your eyes don't cross over on the numbers, you can. So let's look at the budget for a minute. So the original budget for FY24 was $8,894,000. Do y'all see that in the first column? I sent amendments through last night to the Board of Ed. The number that's under that was the amendments, $449,268. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me know. So the new proposed budget now is $343,268 to get us through this year.
Okay.
So can you take the number in the first column and add 10% and get the new budget for FY25? No. It's that simple.
And do we have an approximate number of how many new teachers we've had or positions that we've hired this year?
I heard 2 or 3 last week, just off.
Just last week?
Yeah, and then we lost 2 good teachers that we had hired from the county because we had assumed we were going to get the 10% raise and they pulled out on us. We had a really good math teacher. These teachers are moving for 1,500. I mean, it makes a difference in retirement.
Yes.
We lost 2 good teachers because of this already.
So the next column, year-to-date expenditures, is what we have spent through the report run, which was June the 6th. Now, you still have July and you still have August for this line item. So I want to show you what I did back in April, but back then I had to multiply out May, June, July, and August. I had 4 months to multiply out. So with your calculators, go to the last column. This month, we spent $779,086 on that line item. Type in 780,000 times 2. You might can do that in your head. So how much more will it cost us in this line item to get us through for the rest of the year? Will one of you answer, please?
1.56.
Yep, 1.56 million. Now, if you add that back to your year-to-date expenditures, which was 7.672, so take 1.560 million, add it back, and this, I'm just going to do this one. I want to show you all how this operates and let the county commission know also. 76. These small calculators are terrible, but do the best you can. 446. Somebody tell me
2.2,
where you are.
2.2.
Well, if you add 7, 6, and 1.5, you should be closer to a $9 million number.
Yeah.
So you got it.
9.2,
Okay.
9,232,000.
Okay, he's got $9,232,000. Agree? And the teacher's coming out of me. I'm gonna have to call on some of y'all if you don't answer. But we've got $70,000 coming out for summer school at the end of June, June 30th. Who knew that? So add $70,000 to that.
9.3.
Okay? So look at where I have the budget amended. So he says 9.3, so I say the budget to get us through for the rest of the year is $9,343,268. Multiply that by 1.11, and I'll tell you why. 1.11. That is with a 10% raise and 1% for step raises. And you have the new budget number.
10,325,000.
Okay, so 10,325,000. Let's go to the budget and look. So you guys have your budgets. Let's go look and see what I put in it. And again, I'm going to do one line. We can do every single line in the budget like this if y'all want me to. So go to your budget and let's look and see what I put in. FY25. So we needed $10,325,715 is what I had calculated. We're very close. And I proposed in the budget $10,930,000. That is $604,000 more than what is needed. Mr. Smith has already hired 3 teachers since the budget was proposed. You need to calculate about $60,000 per teacher. So $180,000 of that is already gone. If you all can tell me how many teachers we will need in August when the students enroll, all that's enrolled so far is pre-K and K. I will fix this to exactly where it needs to be. But I don't know. I'll be honest. There's always been about $500,000 in this line item. I've been here 6 years, this coming up 7th year. There's always been that kind of money in this line item. The good news is, if we spend more on teachers because there's need, TISA should turn around and send us more revenue. But I can't predict that either. So there is how the budget is calculated.
Can we shift gears?
Yes, absolutely.
First of all, again, as far as your expertise goes, I mean, you should know by now, from the confidence you're making you're here. I do have great confidence.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Lewis, but that's not how it's been presented, so.
Well, I don't know. Have I done something
No,
like this?
you have not.
Okay. So here's where I think that if we could discuss this, because, you know, looking at, you know, I told you I couldn't find the budget after Mother passed away, and you emailed me once, so I was looking at that. And I think that this is where what you just explained is where some of the confusion is
Yep.
coming in. So if I could just, and again, there's a lot of board members here, nobody's talking, so I hate to keep going on and on and on. But I think this, what you just explained is what the confusion is
Yes.
on the county commission side. And I'm gonna give you just an example. All right, so if I'm looking at page 4 of this budget that you sent me, and it's
Okay.
item 27110, and it says attendance supervisor director.
Okay?
All right. I think here's where confusion comes. Estimated through May 24th, of course, we know it's going to be more than that. We estimated 46,019, correct?
That is what had actually been spent through that date. And I'd have to look back to see if payroll had been taken out on that date or not, but you still have May, June, July, and August.
I understand. I was quoting what it
Yes,
says at the
that,
top.
yes, that's exactly what had been spent that day.
So I think that the confusion and the way that you've just explained it, and with a chart of degree, master degree, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we had some of this, and then we said we're gonna give a 10% raise, and then we proposed $80,000 where, you know, we're at 46,019. I think that what is in the mind of people out there is, well, that should be 4,600. You see
Yeah,
what I'm
but the
saying?
county budget is the same way, presented the same way, so I don't see where the confusion is.
Well, I'm just reiterating
Because we use the
questions
same,
that have been
yeah.
placed to me. So that may be some of it, if that helps clarify.
So we would have to go back to the expenditures and calculate it out.
I understand.
Exactly.
I understand, but you see that, the repetition of that for this, and I think that may be what has created inadvertently or whatever, the confusion in that. Like there's some things I don't understand, and I was just glancing through this, and again, I'm just talking about what I don't understand, but like, 72710 bus drivers. I don't, how in the world did we get from 400 something, $1,000 to 600 and something $1,000?
Where are you on bus drivers?
72710.
Yeah, now you gotta remember, the board last year voted to increase the more experienced bus drivers. So it was 12% last year for certified employees. It was $1 an hour for non-certified employees. And for bus drivers, we went from $85 to $100 a day on the top end. And on the bottom end, it was like $66 to, it was about $15 a day.
12% was on top of that, correct?
No, it was about $15 a day. So if you take 15 times, I think they work 181 days, that was $2,700 that each employee earned extra in FY24, yes. And we would have to go back to the expenditures and calculate it just like we did that first line item.
Eric's with us from the special ed department, but you got a special needs child that was projected to be $40,000 to $50,000 for one person, correct?
That is correct.
That we did not have in FY24.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying, this is where the part of the increase come in.
And I'd like to say that Diana Gotchkoff's transportation budget, let me go to my notes. From 2023's budget to 2025's budget, it's increased $314,000. And that's including buying an extra bus this year. She holds her budget to a T, only increases it when she absolutely has to. And then the salaries only increase when the board votes in a raise. So we're not out there giving people extra money just because we like them or don't like them. They have to have experience, certificates, degrees, and then we take all of that to payroll, and that's how the salary is calculated. Like Mr. Glover says, if they're 11 months or 12 months, that all also is calculated in.
So somebody with a 12-month contract is gonna make more than a
Yes.
10-month contract.
Common sense.
I want the people who's listening to understand that.
Well, you find somebody that's gonna work 12 months for 10 months pay and send them to me. I'll have Mr. Smith, I think I can talk him into hiring them.
Well, and on the other end of that, we get some retired teachers that are really large, we probably hire, what, from 3 to 5, depending on the situation, of what one teacher costs. They just want to come back, basically, be a part of something, it's extra income, you know what I mean?
But Mr. Lewis, I'd be glad to look at the bus drivers with you on the expenditure report. And maybe I made a mistake, and I did, actually, going back through this budget, I found, assistant principals, I need to add a little bit to an attendance supervisor.
Well,
You know,
I'm not looking for mistakes.
yeah, I'm not
Let me-
perfect in
Let me
any,
redirect what
yeah,
my thought
yeah,
process is,
yeah.
if anybody else is following what I'm trying to do. This doesn't
Yeah.
really explain,
that's what the county asked for, Mr. Lewis, a 3-column, budget.
okay.
The 7-column would explain it more, but they asked for a 3-column budget.
Well, and for me, and I'm speaking on my behalf, like when you're talking about we just got to be talking about bus drivers, okay?
Yeah.
When I'm looking at this 3-column, 2023 was 53,446, 2024 to date, or in May, not to date, was 44,895, but then we proposed 70,000, so that's a.
And where are you again? I want to be right with you. What line item?
Well, since you're talking about buses, I just went to the Director of Transportation.
Oh, Director,
72710.
Okay.
So if you follow me across that,
Right.
the way I'm trying to express this, not questioning your numbers, what I'm saying is, for someone who is not versed in it, and I wasn't at that meeting either.
Well, I
but when you
appreciate
look at-
that.
When you look at that, at 2023, we're at 53,446, 2024 in May, we're at 44,895, but we're giving a 10% raise, so how do you arrive at
Yes.
70,000, I think is where,
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
I think that's where confusion falls in line. It does for me too. I mean, just like I asked you, you know, and again, I'm still doing all the talking here. Bus drivers, I just couldn't fathom. I mean, all I've heard, and I'm not being hypercritical of anybody, but, you know, I want our budget to pass, so our employees and things deserve this insurance and they deserve these raises. But I just couldn't, I mean, I about choked when I saw that we've gone from 304, 192, and we're proposing 605.
But that's what was spent through the day that report was run. There's no date on this report, so I'd have to go back to see if payroll for May had been processed yet or not.
So let me ask you a question then, so I'm understanding.
Yeah.
What they received was this right here that says through May 2024.
Uh-huh.
So, that number obviously will be higher.
Yeah, if I ran this report today, it would run the accurate number through today. So every day this report is run, it updates that middle column. That middle column is constantly changing.
But do you say, and I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here, and again, I promised myself I wasn't going to do all talking now. Because Tommy says I talk too much. Playing devil's advocate for someone that is not experienced in this with you, I'm not taking it up for anybody, because when I saw this, I about had a stroke, I'll be honest with you. I was like, how in the world did we get 605 from 300 and something? And then we proposed it. We haven't hired a bunch of bus drivers. All I've heard is we can't hire bus drivers. So that was one of the lines that kind of leapt out at me. But again, I wasn't here last meeting, so, but other people may be thinking the same thing, if that makes sense. I'm not being.
Last year's budget, though, I'm looking back to FY 24's bus drivers. It showed the middle column being expenditures 287,000, and we asked for 506. That was last year's budget. So it's always been that way. It's just that now, when everybody's trying to look at the budget and do this, they're not understanding how it works.
That is my point.
Yes.
So.
That's why I'm trying to educate you and the public a little bit with how I calculate this.
Well, I mean, and that is my point. So, like, if I've been on this board 6 years, and I pick this up, and I know you do an exceptional job, and I know that Barry is a fantastic manager, there's no doubt about that. If I pick this up and see that, and it kind of freaks me out, I can imagine those that have not sat on the board and seen this transition go along, that they would be like, you know, what is this, you know, or is that like super padding, or what are you doing, you know, how do you arrive at this?
So I
that's what I'm
have,
saying.
for bus drivers for FY25, we need $593,000, and I put 605 in, so that's $12,000 extra.
Okay. It's not much, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah. Which won't be enough if anything much changes on the bus route, so we'll be amending that one.
If you have to add a bus route. you
Yeah,
got
yeah, we'll
that.
be amending that one if anything happens. Yeah. I showed you where the largest amount of money is in that teacher line item is 71100. But I'm willing to go through the budget, each and every line item, show you how I got the budget number for FY25, or y'all can ask questions. I'm Mr. Smith's employee, the Board of Ed's employee. I'll do whatever you all ask me to.
I've spent hours looking through this, trying to find anything I can. And spoke to Barry several times. I mean, there's really only certain things that we can cut, and you've spoken to them earlier, right?
Well, I'm sorry.
There's only certain things that we're able to cut out of this budget.
I told you
Correct.
before, things that actual cut, anything else is just fraud. I mean.
And that's working on our buildings,
Capital outlay.
650,000.
Benefits for the.
benefits for the non-certified,
Lighting and field work for the two schools.
lighting and field work for
And
the two
10%
schools,
raise for
and the
both.
10% raises.
Any of that you can cut was just a true cut.
Everything else in this budget, I can't find anything wrong with.
Now, your lighting is non-recurring. You know, would be a every year thing.
That's a one-year thing.
Hopefully your buildings,
Buildings.
we're hoping, we're really close on the buildings. We might even come in and not need it, but we took worst case scenario in case we're hoping we don't have to have it, but we could. We just don't know what heating and cooling, there's still pretty good flooring, we got pretty good items still out there. Those are the 4 places you can truly cut, right there, truly covered.
Okay, we've got some county commissioners here. Do y'all not understand? I mean, I'm just gonna open it up to you. I mean, I don't like this deal of having to sign in and having so many minutes to talk and having to hold my hand up. I don't like all that. I know that's the procedure y'all go through, and that's fine, but I don't like that. And giving, that you got 2 minutes left or 1 minute left. I like to have an open discussion. That's what this is all about. Now, you asked some questions. I mean, we got Ms. Norman here, we're all here. We will try to work something out. So, if you got questions,
I guess the only thing I was kind of like Mr. Lewis when I seen it. I was like, it's $8 million more than previous year. So I was like, I thought we was gonna have some more, like me listening to her, that kind of stuff, and so we can hear it. And I know y'all not been back since that one day that y'all come to budget. And I've got those notes in here too, and it's the same way as it is tonight, nothing's changed, But one thing kept picking up is, like she said that y'all was running on 31 million. Those extras that we know y'all are doing and can't cut out, as Barry and Randy said, is 6 million. But yet we're asking for 40. So where would that free, just say if that would help, is
Same as
that?
this year's budget. It's the same as this year's budget. So the FY24's budget, we proposed $2 million going into
Well, I
fund
know,
balance.
and I'm saying, most time when you're saying, well, what was 2022's budget?
I'll have to go back and
Well,
look at
just
it
say
during it. Yeah.
it was probably give or take, right? So say if you went from 31 to 32.
I'm not saying, I don't know, I didn't
Okay.
bring it.
Well, I don't know neither. I can't remember that neither. But I know it wasn't like $8 million. So I guess as a county, where we're looking at the money and how we're going to sustain this and the longevity, just looking at it like that, thinking how we couldn't even raise taxes that much if the school board budget spent $8 million a year. So in my ignorance, that's why I'm trying to learn. If it did spend it, not saying y'all would, but if it did spend it, how can we cover $8 million a year over the next few years without doubling property tax? But I was like, well, what, maybe that $3 million is just in that 12,000 here, 12,000 there. I don't know. And I'm not saying you want to cut them tight. I know you don't, because who would do that? Then you're going to look bad if you come back. One thing I was wondering as a county commissioner, when's the last time that county commission, and the only reason that night I know that we were saying, hey, we need to send it back to look, because we was there to have a work session over this, and nobody showed up, and I know there was conflict, we just kept it anyway because we thought, well, maybe. And I know we had a couple bad things that happened for the board, and we had some vacations and stuff, which, you know how that is, we don't know that to the last minute that we're not doing it, so we were all thinking we were doing it. So, the last time a county commission done it, and if it's an $8 million, I think I hope the school board just realizes that as a county commissioner, we've got to look at more than just, well, the county commission has never looked at this as y'all come to present it. I know she presented it to the budget committee, so I don't want us to think, and there was several of us there that listened and took notes. We didn't talk because we were just like citizens, that day. But, I think on an $8 million, we need to have some good powwows and like let her explain it like she has tonight. That'll help some. Maybe have some back and forth. And I'm not saying I don't know, $8 million is a lot, and I guess that's what, just me and my simple mind, I'm not near as smart as she is, so I just was trying to figure out if the county commission approves that kind of budget and the school system does spend it, say if something happens, Smith County's, we're in trouble. On $8 million a year, we can't sustain, I know y'all can sustain it for 2 years, but that's as far as we go, and you take that, where it's 1.73 on our property tax, is that correct? I think I remember. And if we had to do 8 million, and we do roads, and we would have to double or triple property tax to sustain that 8 million. And I know that y'all always come in under. I'm not saying you don't, and I know you never asked the county, but we're just looking, I'm thinking forward. Anyway, I rambled on enough. I guess that's, nobody, I know me personally, and the other night when everybody talked, nobody is against giving teacher raises, and I know that's just like y'all hear things, and I don't know where some of that stuff gets going, just like I've talked to Mr. Lewis, and I know I can hear it in your voice. I know things are being said somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know who says it, or if anybody says it, or if people I don't know what happens.
Well,
Or maybe
it was
you hear
said at the meeting the other night that we just put numbers down in the budget, and that's not true. And that we were not
Well,
gonna.
and I think that's why I'm telling you that it looks like, well, maybe it's 3 million of fluff of 12 and 12. Y'all have a lot of line items, so it wouldn't take long
Yeah,
if we had a
agreed.
few thousand here and there.
Absolutely.
And I
But
don't,
does that help you, Mr. Leash, understand any of it?
it does, I
It
still
helps me a
don't,
little bit.
it helps me, I just don't know how we could sustain
Well,
it.
here's how we're gonna sustain this thing. We have a 5-year plan going effect, guys. Every March, we meet with the Tennessee School Board Association. We sit right back there in a room, and we come up with a 5-year plan. We've got the Megatronics Live coming up. That's 2 years out, am I not right?
Here's what,
2 years out for our Megatronics to start. Did anybody listen to the extra funding money we'll get from the state?
Can I say something to that, please? I don't mean to cut you off. Mr. Smith himself stated multiple times in the meeting that we had, the last meeting we had, that he would not in any way budget based on TISA formula or any of that. So if that's what y'all are doing, you're doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do if he was a county commissioner. And that's what y'all are asking us to do. He said it himself. So I don't understand y'all's budget because I did get a three-layer approach instead of the 7. But if y'all came to the meeting or a meeting, we had a meeting together and it was explained and we had it in front of us in 7, the way y'all have it, then maybe a lot of them would understand. And maybe a lot of us would understand it. But when we're getting...
Maybe that's a novel idea. Maybe we should have done that with the 81 Act.
And as you well know, Randy, since you want to bring that up, I voted to do that, but it didn't pass. So here we are.
Just one thing. Ms. Smith said earlier,
you're calculating, and I still say that, and I don't think you have. You're just saying that those are good. We know that several things are gonna come, but till I don't spend money till I get it, okay?
Yep.
We know I call it the $50,000 deal. We know there's some money gonna come from that. We know this teacher thing's gonna go out of water, but we don't have it. And the county shouldn't base their funding off what school system. I told you that repeatedly.
Yes.
Never do that. That should be the other way around. We shouldn't have to have a fund balance so that you know your bond rating, but that's the way it is.
Mr. Bass, I love hearing what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, earlier, Barry said something about the full commission voted it down the other night. The meeting we had was a work session meeting.
I didn't say anything about that. What did I say anything about?
You said the full commission voted it
I
down,
said the
voted
full
to return
commission
it back.
meeting voted, they're not the full commission body. If I did, I'll
No,
take
you
that
said the
back.
full commission voted to send it back. The full commission did
voted,
not,
But the commission.
just the
body,
budget and finance
not-
did.
What I was referring to is not the steering committee, not a committee. The full commission may it not, I know several didn't vote. I apologize. That's-
The other night, no votes were taken in that meeting.
Well, it was sent back as a full.
It was sent back to the Budget and Finance Committee, and the Budget and Finance Committee sent it back to y'all.
Yes.
All right? Some of the questions I have is your $8 million increase in the budget this year. I understand somewhere 4 million is benefits, insurance, and pay raise. I don't think when we talked the other night, we didn't have any problems associated with the pay raise or the benefits that we talked about and discussed. But that would be recurring money, so that's gonna be spent every year. So if that's Ms. Norman, can you tell me what the
Yeah,
total
the
would be?
10% raise is 2.5, the health insurance is 1.6, and the baseball lots are 700. I've got that at $4.8 million. That's
So
not
that's
counting the capital outlay.
That's $3.2 million more money that you put into the budget. That, is it one-time money, or is it more than one time, or recurring expenses?
The
That's
rate-
the one question I have.
Yeah, the raise and the health insurance would be reoccurring.
Yeah.
And of course, health insurance is gonna go up every
understand
single
that.
year. I think it's 5.9% this year, and that will be going up. But your baseball lots and your capital outlay should not be reoccurring. It
What
will
is
be
that
a-
amount?
So the baseball lots were 700,000, and the capital outlay was 650. So if you, 1.35, is that?
What about the
one-
Save-A-Lot building?
The Save-A-Lot building, we didn't put any extra money in for now.
It's extra money, it's.
Yeah,
there.
we're only working on the 2 wellness centers right now because we'll wait and see if all the ISM, we'll use all the ISM money for the Save-A-Lot
So
building.
that 600,000 for the Save-A-Lot, that's not even in the budget that you talked about?
Well, that for the ISM grant, I'm sorry, that's
Okay.
reimbursable.
Okay.
That, yeah,
one- those
that is
some are.
fully
Okay.
reimbursed. We're not putting any extra money like we are with
Gotcha.
the, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So there is some money in there for the ISM grant. I have to go back and look at that amount. I'm sorry. Did you, was it?
600.
Okay, whatever that amount was, the ISM is fully reimbursable on the Save-A-Lot.
But now
grant.
that was on 4.7, so it could have changed since then, but that was just
I
kind
have to
of
look,
was
yeah,
brought.
yeah. But the money we're talking about that we're definitely gonna spend that will not be reimbursable is the 650,000 on the wellness centers.
So we got 4 million, a little over 4 million that's gonna be
4.8 million that we're.
recurring.
No, the reoccurring is salaries. Somebody help me add this up.
It'd be
2.5 and 1.6, so 4.1 million is reoccurring.
So it leaves $3.9 million extra. Some of that is, you took 1.3 or 1 point whatever.
The 1.3 would be a
One-time.
one-time for the baseball lots and the, yes, the
So
wellness centers.
You still got 2.6 million in there.
Yes.
That's, we don't know whether it's recurring or we don't know if it's a one-time.
Well, it's the same as it was in the FY24 budget. You had $2 million in there that it showed extra. So again, like Mr. Smith says, we're not doing anything different than what we've done in the past.
And-
We've added these extra expenditures to that.
And the extra
Yeah.
expenditures, the reoccurring ones that they're concerned
Yeah.
about, was the findings from the comptroller's office and the raise proposals to get us to that point to where the governor wants us. It's something that the county commission was concerned about.
Well, the findings, the audit has recommended that we, of course,
Yes.
pay the health insurance. But as far as the raise goes, I think the governor has proposed that beginning teacher salary be $50,000 in 627.
26, 27 students.
And if you do the 10% raise, you'll be just a little bit over $50,000 now. And of
So-
course, as the raises go up, the governor will also send us more money for our teachers.
So those two reoccurring
Yeah.
concerns are things that the commission was concerned about anyway.
Yes,
It was trying to get to be in compliance,
yes.
I guess. So that money y'all was good with spending, correct?
Right, correct.
And again, the governor should send that money, not the first year, because we're gonna be a little bit ahead of it, but it will come in as the teacher raises increase to fund that.
Another thing, back from experience in 1998, 99, 2000, when this last building program come up, we asked the school board how much extra money every year they could put into the payment on the plan. They come up with $290-something thousand, $293, I think. That's fine, Danny. But the reason they gave, because of that, is that the state required you to hold a certain percentage of your total budget back for if something had to go over. I asked that question the other night if anybody knew what it was. I was thinking it was 25% back in 2000.
It's 3%
I
now.
think it's 3%.
Just
3%,
3%
and
now?
that's not counting capital outlay. You can take capital outlay out and do 3% of the rest of the budget.
Well, I was thinking even at 15%, if you go down to 5 million, you're below that point.
That
15%.
3% put us at 300 some odd thousand
Yeah.
dollars that we'd be required for the time. 3% is where we're at now.
Well, the county's general fund is 30%. So we feel like 3%, or I feel like 3% is not enough, to be honest.
I'm not happy, I don't want to be at 3% either. I mean, that roof for HVAC unit on 2 buildings,
Well, that-
something other than we're in a mess.
But that was one of my concerns. I asked the other night, somebody told me it was 15.
I read the TCA code to the whole commission, and it did say 3%, and I got that from Mr. Lewis.
But I was looking at 15%, at 40 million, that's 6%, $6 million that you needed to surplus. And your budget, you're going below that 6%, so, or 15%.
I'll tell you, Mr. Bass, I can't speak for everybody on here, but I'm never gonna buck this budget down where it's 3% left in that fund balance. That's not gonna happen. And I absolutely, I'm not gonna tell you, that's treacherous, and it's dangerous for our employees and our infrastructure. I'm not gonna do it. Now, everybody else can echo whatever, but I think that's ludicrous to even consider. Even though the law says 3%, I think that's ludicrous to even consider that.
Well, the thing of it is what you presented though, this year you might get through it, but next year you're gonna be hitting that 3%.
You think so, Norm?
I don't think so,
Well,
but I
based on-
can't guarantee.
If you spend it, that's the only thing.
If you spend
If we
$8 million
spend
extra on this year, you're bringing it down to $5 million. And if you spend that $8 million next year, then you're down below.
I mean, if we have a catastrophe and you need to spend the $10 million, we'll have to do it, but we hope to not have a catastrophe of any kind.
Well, and I mean, I understand what Mr. Bass is saying, and again, I'm doing all talking, but, if we're doing this recurring thing, two things on that, it would be recurring on what we're doing right now, but there's no guarantee we're gonna give that kind of raise again next year or even propose it, so, if we do this, we've given a pretty similar amount in 2 rounds, so I don't know if that would even be on the table, because we've got to manage well, and the other thing is, we may spend that, but then all this funding that we're gonna get right back in should outweigh that if it.
Well, that's still questionable money. You don't know, until it starts coming in. But what I'm getting at though is, like you had 32 million presented this year to spend. You're gonna be hitting that 32 million or 31 million. So you're gonna be right there at the cutoff. This 4.1 million recurring is gonna be coming in every year above that cutoff. So if you plan on spending 40 million and you spend 40 million next year, you're at $5 million in surplus. What are you gonna do the following year?
Well, I mean, that would be excluding any kind of revenues that we might gain.
You gain 3 million in the one-time, expenses, you would gain that. And anything else that comes in.
Again, I'm doing like talking, anybody tell me to shut up, or I'll go outside and smoke, it don't matter to me.
That's, what I'm asking y'all is just some questions I have.
No, I
And
don't
we'll
want
bring
to
it up,
ask,
so.
because here's my goal in this. I don't know where best is, I'm just back and forth. Here's my goal. We need to have an open dialogue. That is what we're doing right now.
Yes.
I didn't know the answer to these right here. I want to know why we're at $605,000 on buses. I asked that question. We need to be able to have an open dialogue. I mean, just because we wear different hats, that doesn't make anybody enemies. We need to be able to talk.
Yes.
And understand where we're coming and going. Obviously, I've had questions too. But I don't think it's unfair for anybody on the county commission to ask questions either. I don't want us overspending anything, but remember, can't swear that the governor, we're gonna get this check from the state or whatever, and I would love to tell you that. Have we been doing that historically? Yes, sir. But I can't swear that all the trees are gonna bloom come next spring either. All that I can do is protect. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not gonna lie to anybody in this room. I'll tell everyone of you straight up now. I've been looking at this thing to cut anywhere I could. That $605,000 stuck out in my mind. If you haven't been able to explain it, I was asking for $200,000. I mean, I'm just telling you. Because my goal at the end of the day is to see how we can pass a budget, what we can cut, what we can't, and how we can pass our budget with the county commission, being feeling good about it and all that stuff, and take care of our employees. And I've used this analogy 100 times. I won't say it more because you and I have not had a conversation. Really what we're doing is we're planting trees, apple trees, with our employees. Now, if you plant an apple tree, and I'm just comfortable in this fashion, don't go live, so I kind of plain spoke, so you have to excuse me for not being quite eloquent as some people, but I'm just kind of plain spoke. If you plant an apple tree out there and you take care of that apple tree and everything, it's going to yield good fruit. The analogy would be like our teachers and taking good care of them, and hopefully the fruit that they yield will be good students who will move on, they'll get an education, make a difference in the world. At the same time, if we don't care for that apple tree, I promise you the fruit will be rotten, and you know what I mean. Now, I know that being said, again, I'll repeat myself, I came in here looking to cut anything I can cut. I'm not going to tell you a lie about that, and we're not done yet tonight. But I still won't be able to take care of our employees because I think that doing so gives our children a chance. And our children are why we have a school system, and I think you agree with that. I don't think anybody has any malice in here at all about anything. I want this dialogue. I asked the mayor for the meeting and the budget finance committee. He didn't have to recognize me, but he did. And I asked for it, and then I could not attend. I apologize for that. But it was my mother, and obviously I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't attend this meeting either. But I think the dialogue is healthy. It helps understand. So I thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir. I told you, Anna, this is not a county commission.
Can we get, all of our emails are out on the internet. Can we get the 7, whatever it is, the 7 phase or whatever, and also the teacher's schedule that y'all see? Could we all get that? That way, when it is talked about.
I sent that to Daisy before the last meeting. So
But I'm asking, can you send it
Yes.
to the county commissioners? Because sometimes we get stuff and sometimes we don't.
Sounds like an internal.
You can get it, we'll have to check the legal,
Okay.
you may have to block names out.
I'm not asking for names. I'm talking about
It may still-
that list. That she's
Like that?
one, yes, that right there.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, can we
I
get?
think that's public record.
Yeah, I sent that to Daisy before, yeah.
I haven't got it.
Yeah, she put that in the last.
I put that in the
package.
TISA funding before the meeting the other night.
This field, that's what drives a lot
You
of
keep
what
it.
we have to do is because it's based on that scale that you have in your hand.
Right.
And so it drives what we have to do. Those are things that we can't.
Now, non-certified scales are different, that's for the certified.
understand.
Yeah.
Could we
Keep in
get-
mind, this is on a 10-month contract,
10
not a
months.
12.
Yeah, or
We have
11.
people that are on 12 that make more than what,
We understand that, Randy, you pointed out multiple
Okay.
times.
I just want you to understand that.
We understand. Can we get the length, instead of the 3,
Absolutely. Most of
the
that,
7?
not that you should have to look it up, I'm not saying that, I think most of that's supposed like different websites, but we can get that on the
The only reason I'm asking for it is because I think it would be helpful for the commission to see that
We can get that.
and understand it better, understand the budget better,
We'll
because
try to get them to you tomorrow.
that'd be great.
Do you take notes, Tracy? Okay.
Let me make a suggestion, this is not anything to vote on, I want to make sure we're all talking. Can we do this normal? I don't know whether we can or not, because I know you said there was a 10-day.
I don't.
I have to present next Monday night, that's the 15th, I think we have to take it back.
That's the 17th.
17th, I have to take it back next Monday night, whatever you all decide.
That would help me. My suggestion was for you to go back and see if there's any way we could trim this thing and then bring it back to us on Tuesday night and us vote on it, yes or no. But meanwhile, during that time period, you get the county commissioners what they want to see.
Yeah, but I'm meeting with them before next Tuesday night.
She's gonna have to have something.
So, I'm ready to go through the budget right now and show you where there's extra money, if you wanna do that tonight. We can take every line item and go through the budget tonight. And you all tell me, I'm not cutting it, because I have presented the budget that I feel comfortable with.
The only places you can truly save money is cut those sort of things.
Yeah, to
Rather than
save.
just smoke mirrors.
Yeah.
Is there anything anybody sees up here that I'm not seeing?
About what?
The budget.
Well, the only thing, we already addressed the only thing that stood out to me was the yearly insurance. That's actually what I talked to Barry about. I understand the salaries. I first had a concern about the salaries, but I called Mr. Smith and he explained it to me kind of about like this in a nutshell. And I'm like, well, I didn't see it that way, and I was looking at 2023. I was like adding 22%, that's kind of what I was doing, anyway. But the only question I had, and y'all already tried to answer, I know the insurance is paid, you have to write the check like in November, December or something. But it looks like maybe there'd be more money in the budget next year to cover the end of the year. Looks like we're trying to get a year's worth of insurance payment in this budget.
Yeah, I put the
And that's the
full,
way we'd probably do it from going forward.
so if the insurance passes, the coverage will begin in January, but we take it out of the first deductions in December. So you've got 9 months that we'll have to pay the premiums. So, there is 3 months that could be taken out of this budget. For an example, that's $216,000 that could come out of line 207 on that first page. But to be transparent to the county commission, I presented it at full cost, what it will cost in the future. So, yeah, that is a line item that I could lower back to 9 months instead of having 12 months.
I mean, that was mainly my thing.
I wouldn't think that'd be good, because, you're just gonna have to raise it next year,
Yeah,
so just
so-
go ahead and put it like you
Yeah.
said, as far as.
I mean-
That was
And
all-
what happens to that money that we don't use, that we've budgeted for?
It goes into your surplus.
Goes into fund balance, don't it?
Fund
Yeah,
balance.
as long as revenue is more than expenditures, it goes into fund balance. Yes, yes.
So then, all you really gotta talk about then is, do we come in under budget on these other items? Like, I will not waver on the wellness centers, because it's a given, I don't care if it costs us
It's
a
gonna hurt your
million
funding
dollars.
down the road if you do something.
But maybe, possibly, these ball improvements, ball field improvements, maybe?
That's right. The races could be cut, go 5 and 5, or not give them. You cut out the 1.6 in benefits, that's really the 4 things you can really, and I'm not advocating anything, I'm just saying that you can truly save through cuts.
So let me ask you a question, Mr. Edwards. What are you recommending on this budget?
Well, unless you're telling us to do something, I recommend with the budget you passed, that's what we done. If you come back and tell us to do something different, then we'll switch that.
Ms. Norman, you said you had a few cuts that
Yeah.
you could save a few money. Do y'all wanna listen to what she's got to say?
Yeah, Dave.
A little money's better than no
Save
money.
some money on here, what you got to
So the first line item we talked about was 71100 teachers. I had $604,285 extra. I need you to tell me what, the first one teachers. So there's,
That's the one I don't know how you.
Well, you
That's
tell-
not a lot of money that we're talking about. We don't want some more.
well, I know, but you need to tell me what to cut on that. There's the first one.
Could you cut $50,000? That's one teacher.
You can, but you're just moving your own money around.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
not-
robbing Peter to pay
we want
Paul.
to change. We're not going to spend that money.
We don't need it.
So it's gonna roll over in fund balance anyway.
No.
So the only basic places you're gonna cut money is what you said.
As far as you truly cutting, you know, because we save every dime of electricity, we operate like, we save every dime of diesel, we save every, guarantee you, it'd be hard to be better than what we do.
Let me, I don't wanna put nobody on the spot, but I have a number in the back of my head. If we submit this budget just like it is, non-changed, we all know sitting right here, there'll be money going back into fund balance. Correct? Next year, unless a disaster happens.
As long as revenue is more than expenditures, fund balance increases.
Correct. But the budget you're
I'll give you an
proposing,
example where you're going. What we budget for diesel, a gallon? We generally, like 1 year cover, we're $5. We probably budgeted $5, it's probably gonna
I
come
have
in
to look.
at $2.83. We don't know that, we could have a year in March, that you know what I mean?
In 2023, we used in 2023, we used $142,000 on diesel.
What do we have budgeted?
I don't know, I'd have to go find the budget, this is just what we used. And then I proposed 195 this year, so it went from 142 to 195, that's $50,000. So if y'all wanna cut that, I mean, there's areas like that, that if you tell me to cut, I'll cut, and I can go through and show you where all those numbers are.
Well, let me ask you this, Tommy, and Michael, I think what they're, I'm saying there, that's kind of impersonal. I think what the county commission is wanting to hear is how we're going to move through this. So, if we cut anything out of this budget, it's still our money, it ain't going anywhere, and we can do a budget amendment, put it back in it if we need it, but if we don't need it, then we have cut what has been presented to them. Am I making sense?
yep, keep on.
Like, that's what, you know, between the 3-line budget that they saw, which very misleading to me, not misleading intentionally, but I couldn't follow it. It looked like $200,000 up here and a 40% raise there and this, that, and the other, because I couldn't follow it. That's nobody's fault but me, but that's what they're seeing now. I don't see what's wrong with, drawing back a little bit on this budget. It's staying in our account. If we have to do a budget amendment, we do them all the time, is my understanding, and it's never been denied, so I don't, you know, why, my point is, unless we're right back against the wall, every penny of this is necessary, I don't know why we're budgeting it when we can come back and do an amendment and change it.
Can we do an amendment with this present form of government?
Say it again.
With the present form of government, can we do a budget amendment?
Yes, you can. We have refused 0 budget amendments.
Have you ever been denied an amendment, Ms. Norman?
No.
So I guess that's just what
I've had some commissioners to vote no, but it passed.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, you know, and let's just say it like it is, I don't care. I mean, we sit here tonight and we've had yes and no votes on every single topic we've come up with, and I think that the county commission probably gonna react the same way when everything comes. Do y'all vote 100% on anything?
Very seldom.
Very seldom. But what I'm getting at, Tommy, is maybe that would allow them to exhale a little bit, and then if we see that we need to spend $750,000 on lights, then come back and do a budget amendment and ask for it. But you're talking about nearly $1 million on that one line right there.
But what I don't understand, how does that help when it's our money, or the school system money? I mean, now, if we're trying to fraudulently, I don't like to use that word fraudulently, slip money in and ask for more and save money, that's wrong. If you're just moving, you're not accomplishing anything, nothing.
Well, I don't know, it depends on perspective. I would argue that what we're accomplishing is that we've reduced the bottom line of what we're asking to spend, with the hopes of approving pay raises and insurance. And then if we want to do amendment later on, and you're doing a great job, which you always do, and T's funding or whatever is going through the roof, and we will come back and do this $750,000, we do a budget amendment and do it. But in the meantime, has it made the county commission feel like we're trying to be, I don't know what the proper word is, that we're trying to work back and forth harmoniously in a way that makes it where we
Good
can
faith.
pass this budget?
But, see, I would say this nicely. Put ourselves in their seats, sitting on there. And if you're sitting on the county commission and somebody proposes you're gonna spend $8 million this year, they're asking a question. I don't think they got a problem if we spend $8 million. The question I keep hearing is, how you gonna make sure you don't spend $8 million more next year because you only have $5 or $6 million in here? And that's where y'all like coming from, because if you sit over there and look at that, you're like, $8 million.
Because I know me personally, I want this budget to pass. I want us to come, like you said, talk back and forth so that we can pass this budget. I don't know how that is, because you can tell by all the talks of the night, I'm afraid it ain't. So the main reason I want to come tonight is see if we can't just figure out something so we can get a budget passed, get our teachers raises, get whatever the things that y'all, that's more of y'all, I know, whatever y'all's heart desire, but we know that it's not gonna be like something that we're gonna have to I always say raise Miss Mazel's taxes. Miss Mazel here, our seniors can't afford more land taxes, so. And I don't think I don't think it's gonna be that way, and I agree with what you're saying. I think that stuff's gonna come in, so what could we do? Reduce it now, and if it came in,
But as far as budget amendments go, guys, every other department or office in the county does budget amendments every year. I mean, across the board. So it would be no different. Y'all do budget amendments every year just about. It's no difference.
Now, if y'all got a $40 million budget, you're expecting to bring in 32 million next year, like you're expecting that. But if you bring in 34, 35, that cuts it down to $6 million. And that puts you another year or two down the road before you have to worry about where the money's gonna come from, if it stays at that level.
Yep, but
So,
that's true,
but you don't know if you're gonna get $3 or $4 million extra funding this year.
and we
Best
wouldn't
hope you-
probably go in at a $40 million budget next year, because we've got a lot of projects we're trying to get done.
Well, you're still looking at 4.1 million
Reoccurring.
with just your reoccurring.
But that was something that the commission was wanting us to do to get rid of finance. That was something.
That's true.
That was one of
That's
the,
true.
that was one of
And
the
I-
reasons.
A
that-
portion of that, because the fines was the insurance.
Mhm.
I'm not against raises in any way. I'm not against y'all's budget anyway. I'm just saying the fines are only for the insurance, which I think it was 2
Now, the
point
raises
something
would have been
point
a
six.
fine as well in the future.
Right.
It's preparing for, it's being proactive.
Right, I agree.
So it would have been reoccurring in the near future anyway.
That's fine, but if we can stay ahead of that curve a little bit, then we'll
Yes.
go it all.
And then, obviously, we'll get more money from the state once the raises start, so. But, so there's $4 million that's a reoccurring, that one of the reasons the county commission felt like they needed to help oversee this.
Well, I think more so,
I think that was-
$8 million bucket there, we understand 4.1 comes from the reoccurring, and then you got 3.9 left out there. You said 1.3 in one-time expenses there. So next year you can come down from 40 million to 38.7.
Yes, sir.
That gets closer, but it
And
doesn't.
what's the normal historical raise every year on increase? 2% overall? 1%?
She said one.
1 point something?
You have to
1.1.
predict about 1% for step raises every year.
That's just step raises.
Step
That's not the
raises.
whole, do you know what the normal historically that we raise the whole budget?
Well, if the board, of course, votes a raise in, we do that, but then the state puts out a mandate, like he said, the end of June, the 1st of July, after the budget's already prepared, of what the minimum teacher salary will be that year. We don't get that until after the budget is prepared.
That puts us in a remarkably
Yeah.
bad situation.
Yeah, and we're, we've been a little bit ahead of that recently, which helps, because then we can plan, accordingly. But yeah,
But we
so-
could, but,
And there's no answer there. Some years it's increased at $200, some years it's increased at $1,200. It's
But-
whatever the legislature votes.
but whatever you get, it knocks down that 2.6 million. Am I right or
Yeah.
wrong?
Correct.
I mean, if they give you $100,000.
Yeah,
You go from 2.6 to 2.5. If you get 1.3 million,
yeah,
it knocks it down to 1.3.
right.
So you're not reoccurring 4.1.
Yeah, we don't have the answer either.
Yeah, we don't.
Is there one question that I can ask you about
I'll
the
try.
revenue that you bring in every year? Past 3 or 4 years, what's your revenue that you bring in compared to what you budget?
You're asking revenue only.
Like last year, you,
Yeah. So I'd have to go back and look. I'm sorry. I mean, it's gonna be pretty close. I'm sorry, I can't call the numbers off from last year. I'd have to go back and pull that and look for you. We have this
Let me
year.
rephrase, let me kind of word this question.
Okay.
Have we put a fund balance in for the past, since 2016?
Every year it's increased since 2016.
I've been on this board for 20 years, and I'm gonna tell you, 20 years, I've sat here and approved budgets. We started out as a bit, when I got on in 2004, I right at the building program, we finished up this, we had a pretty good fund balance. Then it dwindled and dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, we balanced the budget. Mr. Lewis and I went back to county commissioners, we got a dime, thank goodness. We was able to receive our growth money all the way up until several years ago. We stopped getting our growth money, okay? But since 2016, 2015 area, instead of us pulling out our fund balance, and we got down to probably, I don't know, we'd have to go back and look, but I'm gonna say probably $3 million, $3.2 million. And then in 2015, we started going the other way. Instead of using our fund balance to fund our budget, we were making money every year. We got making money. And all of a sudden, what we're gonna finish out this year at, 13.1 million, roughly, maybe 11.1
Maybe,
million.
approximating
12 million.
900,000 to the good.
Yeah,
And
we was
again,
at
it was 500,000, I think, on the financial sheet, but when everything's
11 to
tallied.
$12 million, maybe,
Yeah, well, it's already at 10.9, so if you add another, yeah.
somewhere between 12 and 13 million.
And again, I cannot exactly say that, but just predictions. Yes,
But it's already at 10.9.
yes.
That's what you just.
Audit has defined the end of last year at 10.9. Until audit defines that, I can't tell you what it is. They
And
have
you're
to-
gonna get school years that you're gonna have to tap way into the fund balance to fund some projects and stuff that you're looking to do that you've neglected, I ain't gonna say neglected, that you didn't have means to do a couple years ago. So eventually, you're gonna have to take that big one hit. I'm like Mr. Smith, we can move salary, money and all stuff around, it's still gonna be there at the end of it. When it's all said and done, you're gonna have it here, or you're gonna have it in fund balance. The only things you can cut is the things that Mr., and I didn't realize this till we was talking, that's the only things you can cut. That's it, it's truly save money. Me, myself, I'm sitting here on the board, and I'm like I said, I've been sitting here 20 years, I see us, give us our $40 million budget, let's run it, unless a catastrophe happens, I think we get to do everything we wanna do. I think we turn over another $1.5, $2 million at the end of the year, so we don't use $8 million, we use $6 million. Or 6.5 million. I mean, I can't say that, but I'm kind of confident that I think would be $1 million at least, maybe we use 7 million, I don't know. I don't know, because you always budget heavy, every director is always budgeted heavy, everybody does. And you always at the end of the year come out with more money than you went, unless the catastrophe happens. Unless something like that happens, I mean, something like that. So there might be more grant money out there.
Do we
that
always,
come
so to
in.
answer Mr. Bassey's question, we almost always receive more revenue than what we predict because of the extra grants we get along through the year. And because I don't overestimate revenue. That's the biggest mistake you can make. I only list what I'm for sure about. So if we get extra, so to answer your question, I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, yes, we have received more revenue than we projected every year. But a lot of that has to do with our supervisors that are going out for those grants and getting us the grant monies. Yeah. That was a hard question, but yes. I'd say
What?
yes.
And I think I got to know, past 3-4 years, we think we've gotten grant money. 10 million, 3-4 years?
No,
12
More
or
than that?
more.
12, 15.
Yeah.
Okay, I was
The last
concerned.
time I calculated it was 12, and
I
that was.
mean,
a
3 or
year
4
ago.
years.
Yeah, 12, 15.
Yeah.
That's just a ball. I mean,
Yeah, it's ballpark. It's
There's-
key
there's-
to have a good grant writer. I don't know why the county don't hire a professional grant writer. Because a professional grant writer will pay for themselves.
Well, we have one through the
We got one.
UCDD.
There's a tremendous amount of money out there. We're working on one right now. We bet we can really do some stuff, some campuses, safety fencing and stuff,
Yeah.
several $100,000. So launching.
So I know that there was a scare or some comments made to me specifically, that if the 81 Act happened, that they were gonna quit, y'all were gonna quit writing grants. So that, y'all are saying that that's not gonna stop. That y'all are still gonna write grants.
We're still writing grants.
Still writing grants.
Because that
We're
was
still
said,
writing grants, ain't we, Mr.
and I had several people ask me about that, and that's the reason I just wanted to ask.
That's why our supervisors work 11 and 12 months, because they are writing those grants and doing those extra things that you don't see them during the school year.
And just to let you know, my vote on the budget may be no because of something completely different from school board activity. So,
Because it's all or none, correct? It is all. When the vote comes up on the 24th, it's a county budget as a whole.
It depends if they pull it out. They can pull it, they can pull each department out if they want to vote on it individually. But at the end of the day,
basically.
it would be a yes or no, because it ain't gonna go into effect until we'll all be operating off the same.
Just to be transparent, like people in the community is saying, well, what if you get, 10% for this person and 3% for this person? Like I try to tell the county commission, all we can do is a yes or no, and that's why I want us to figure out how we can work together so that we can pass that, and y'all can work out all how you wanna do your raises, and, I know that's what y'all are elected for, but we're elected to look out for the teachers' money, but also the taxpayers, and we're just afraid that if y'all spend $8 million over the next 2 years, you got 10, 1 year you're only gonna have 3, and I know some of that, I'm sure, but what if? So,
And even
Can I
if
say
we
something?
do pass the budget, that doesn't say that we're not telling you to give a 5% increase. That's up to y'all. It's not up to us, or the 10% increase. That's up to y'all.
I had some of the same questions Mr. Lish brought up, why don't we give 10% to this person, 3%? And I tried to explain to them, after I explained to them, they understood that, but just going back to this salary study thing here. If we give a 10% to somebody with a bachelor's with 0 degrees, and we give a 3% to somebody with a doctorate at 70,000, or let's just say let's put it this way, if we give a 10% to everybody under 60,000 and a 3% to everybody over 60,000. So now we have somebody who's making $59,999 gets a 10% raise. Somebody who's got $60,001 gets a 3% raise. So now that person's jumped. So it's equal across the board. That's why we do that. And you can't discriminate against somebody who's worked years and got more degrees than somebody who's just started. And that's how I explain to them. And I hope the county commission understands that.
If you do 5 and 5, that's 1.6 million.
1.3.
Yeah, about 1.3, 1.35, yeah.
Wrong. 1.3 million. We do a 5 this year and 5 next year.
But the 5 next year is not guaranteed. Would it be? We can't vote on next year's budget this year, can we?
But you could put it in next year's budget, always what we're planning on doing, if you went that way.
I'm just saying that's 1.3 mil right there.
And you can take, I don't get no accomplishment, but you can take the 400 or 600 or something, 1.6, but you know you're not going to use, and you know you're not going to use that. When trying to hit it, that's just what it's going to hide it, that's what it's going to be.
It'll increase next year, so if I went in and cut the insurance back to 9 months instead of 12 months, it was, I don't know the exact amount of money. I could go through each line item and tell you, but you're talking about several $100,000 there in savings. But next year, it's gonna be put back in
You're
there.
not really trimming it, other than
Yeah.
the rate.
We're not gonna use it, it's just there.
We're not asking
Yeah.
for y'all not to do the 10% raise. I don't think anybody on the county commission has asked for teachers to get less than 10% raise or not do the insurance. We've not, that's not been said by anyone that I know of. So,
Those are the only places to be trimmed. So,
So we're just asking for some insight of what we need to treat.
Well, now, me,
we
only thing
can't
I see
line item you.
is if we went from, if we've got 1.2 in project, 2.5 in teachers, 1.6 in benefits, and 700,000, that's about 6 million. We're asking for 40 million, so that shows that there's 3 million in stuff that we're probably gonna need, or that y'all are gonna need, but us as a county, you know, like the 12,000 extra in gas and stuff like that, but that 3 billion on that, many line items, probably, it's probably worth, I know that day at the budget, when y'all presented, I know I thought it looked like maybe 2 million in just extras. And I'm not saying it's too much, but I'm just trying to, that was just me and my simple math, trying to figure out, well, would that even help? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the field lighting, if me as a citizen looks, like Manny says, if y'all worked hard, you're gonna spend, you need to spend money back, give back to your kids. Building projects, which is $650,000 for the wellness center, that's $600 for Save Light, which she
Which that's
explained that a
reimbursable,
little.
that's
Yeah.
reimbursable, yeah.
So, I mean, that's things, and like y'all said in the past, that's stuff that y'all gonna be able to make more money with the state.
ISM grant, it's in the revenue, yes, already in the revenue.
Which ball field lights are those?
Smith County High School, and then principals got together and agreed that you get both the same. This is really used for everything down here.
Right.
They're building a field at Lawrenceville, they would put that toward construction, they would put writing, they would ask us for no more money.
So they are gonna build a field at Gordon, so
That's
that's.
that's what they're wanting to do.
Okay.
They're
I
gonna
didn't
take, with volunteers, they're gonna take that money, and put toward diesel and that kind of thing, but they put in writing, I said, well, what's the need you for asking for lights, because they said, we'll put in writing, we'll never ask for no more than what that cost, so that they built theirs, we'll build theirs.
Will they actually put lights on that field?
They'll raise the money going forward for their lights, I think.
Okay.
And it was approached to him and me, both, well, let's just do the 350,000 for the lights up here, and then maybe later on do for Gornville, but now, I don't play that kind of game. It's one county. Whatever I do for Lawrenceville, I'm gonna do for Carthage. Whatever I do for Carthage, I'm gonna do for Lawrenceville. I don't play, we're not gonna get into this magical line across the river. I've never been that way, and I'm not planning on starting today.
I 100% agree with that.
But, I mean, that's just the way I see it. And I told them plainly, whatever we done 350 up here, they get 350 over there, but as he explained, that will be for their field, their lights, they'll have to work that out.
I just didn't, the only reason I asked that question about the lights for them is because I didn't know that they were planning on building the field. It's the only reason I asked.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but now, that's the only way I would even agree to it, period, is each one get the same amount of money.
And that's, when I was originally asked, I said they won't be, but then they did, the principals got together, and come back and propose this. That was their idea.
Right.
Anything else, gentlemen? Mr. Bass, anything on your mind, sir? I appreciate hearing your counsel. You've been involved in this for a long time.
I appreciate y'all coming and talking to us.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I just, you spend 8 million more than you're gonna bring in, you're gonna have to talk about something next year.
I wish I could sit here and swear to you that we would bring, for me, all that I can tell you, Mr. Bass, and you know what I'm about to say, is if you look at the last 5 years, or 6 years, or whatever the trend has been, it's increased every year, which I'm saying that, I mean, I've already said to you, I can't either with the intention of having this budget taken, but a lot of difference between the 3 line that y'all got and I got. I was seeing the 7 line for the first time tonight. The 3 line really disturbed me, and the 3 line is what, or the 3 column is what y'all got.
Yeah,
So,
best
I
I remember,
said-
the 7 column has the 24 budget in it, so you see the budget.
Absolutely, but they haven't seen it, so I'm seeing what, I've got both. So the 3 column that y'all have really disturbed me as well. You know, when you're talking about a couple 100,000 in buses, and this one looks like it's getting a 25% raise, but it, you know, this one looks like it's getting 12, but in actuality it's not when you get to the 7 line. So that's one thing I want, and I know that y'all will receive, or maybe that'd be beneficial because it makes more sense to me on that one as well, but on this one, yeah, I know exactly what y'all are worried about, because I was worried about the same thing when I got here tonight. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
So here's my question, when we go to county finance, let's say we get a grant for $150,000 to buy a school platform, to do something at a school. And we have to spend the money first, and then turn around and ask for reimbursement. So if we don't have any lines where we can spend that money out of, and that is sent to the county finance office, what's going to happen at that point?
That's where you come and ask for
An
line
amendment
amendment.
before we can spend it.
A budget.
That was probably what we
You
do.
show that you got a grant coming in,
Yeah.
but you gotta
So-
spend it out before it comes in. But you know, you might have to spend it out of your surplus that you got.
Will they let us spend it out of surplus? Or will it be a no until you make an amendment?
I believe it'd be a no until the amendment was done, because that's the way everybody else in the county
Yes.
government works.
So a grant like that would fail, we'd fail to get that because of that.
If there was a timeline, I don't know, and again, I'm just asking.
Well,
So-
How often do you have a 2-month timeline?
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed,
that's-
agreed.
And I think
Not really.
the key is like Mr. Lewis said, I think we just need to start getting around the room more and talking
Yeah.
instead of saying, well, I heard this and I heard that.
I agree.
I do too, and I know.
I sat in
it's-
here 2 or 3 months ago.
I've talked to y'all
I was
enough
here.
personally, know
He
half
said,
what's
she
happening.
said, and somebody's aunt and uncle told their nephew, I'm not listening to more things.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
It's like
I don't get more.
it's kinda like your 5-year plan. You know, outside of y'all knowing the 5-year plan that you have, us, unless we've talked to one of y'all about it, We don't know anything about it.
You can have it anytime you want.
That might be a good thing too,
Whose fault
because,
is it? We're invited to every meeting. I mean, are we supposed to go to each one every day?
Well, you know, I come to several
I know you
meetings,
do.
but I'm not, you know, I don't hear y'all discussing it.
We appreciate you being here. If we ever treated you like you didn't want to hear, if everybody would come, we'd understand what's going on.
Does the county have a 5-year plan?
Randy,
No.
you know the
I'm
county
asking.
doesn't have a 5-year plan. You used to be on the county commission
I
yourself.
did.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys, in 2015, I didn't think we needed a 5-year plan, but I'm glad we got one now.
And
Remember this
I-
more?
Keeps you from having to go hand to mouth.
Retreat.
And I'm asking, does the
Yeah.
county not ever go into fund balance when they do their budget?
You know, what did the county do with their fund balance this year?
1.6 million,
And there was no plans to spend it?
yeah, plan to spend it,
Yeah.
but it's all one time.
But we ended up
expenditure.
not,
yeah, that's true.
I don't believe that we're gonna end up going into fund balance at the end of the year because revenues was up. I believe that's right. Kind of like y'all. But yes, we did, I believe that we did vote for 1.6. No, it wasn't 1.6. It was $600,000 is what we voted to go in fund balance last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And
I'm not saying that because that you have to. I mean, you have to.
Right.
For the business.
Some of it on this grant that you have to get it in and spend it before you can get the grants funded.
We've got to do a lot of things like that.
All of our federal money works that way. We have to spend it first
Yeah,
and then
spend
turn
it
around.
first and get it.
Summer school works that way, yeah.
Feel like a lack of communication, not pointing the finger at anybody. Feel like a lack of communication causes a lot of problems. I mean, in business or marriage or anything else, you know, and I think it's caused some misconceptions here.
I agree.
And I might be wrong, but now when you look at this right here, in comparison to that right there, there's a vast difference. I mean, and again, I've been completely fair and honest in here. I came in here with the intention of cutting all over the place today. Because I want to know why we're spending $200,000 on buses, but then when you get over there at this 7-line that y'all, or 5-line that y'all have, it's not accurate, so.
will y'all be there Monday night?
Pardon me?
Will y'all be there Monday night? Can Miss Norma, Barry, and whoever, all y'all,
I can
Come Monday
attend,
night.
thank you for asking, I can attend Monday night. We
That'd
were
be
not
great.
asked the last time if we could attend or not. We were just told when it was.
Oh,
well, if y'all can attend Monday night, please, that way
I think
there
that's
may
what
be
we
other
need.
questions asked and then they can ask them and be, we're gonna communicate.
But
We need to communicate.
do we
We
not
got
have to
some-
present something Monday night?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know that the budget was supposed to, how was it said for the budget and finance to,
It's gotta be posted 10 days before we can vote on it.
And my understanding, it was posted. And then they're,
but I think a lot of it comes down to like what Mr. Lewis said, and like what I've talked to y'all several. Let's just get our heads around it and no feathers fly, and if it does, you know,
I'm not doing that.
don't let it, you know, we got enough big old boys. You know, let's talk about it. Let's figure out. So my biggest fear is what is gonna happen if we keep going back and forth and we can't pass the budget.
we're gonna be operating out of last year's budget.
Everybody loses and y'all can't get what y'all want, and then we gotta start over and
Listen, everybody loses.
everybody loses.
And some of these people out here that are single parents, raising children, don't have any insurance. And I know the marketplace is out there, but, you know, some of our line items don't pay enough for them to get insurance on the marketplace, and y'all know that. I mean, say something, Joe. I mean, you've had somebody already come to you and
I had some EAs to tell me if they didn't have overdraft privileges at the bank, they couldn't make it.
so,
I
I mean,
think
we gotta,
one to
we gotta
tell
get that
you.
insurance, y'all. They've gotta live. I mean, that's,
Could we? I should.
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Yes, sir.
Hold on, I'll tell you something.
But we got a
It's gonna be a
deadline,
alternative bill.
let's not forget, we gotta give them a
Will there
response,
be enough room?
10-day deadline on this thing, too.
I don't know why.
on what we're going to propose.
So my concern is if there's any changes made in the budget, it's gonna take me several days to, it has to be like that one line item that I showed you, I have to recalculate and re-enter. So as long as you all understand that I can't just push a
We can
button.
still get the county, we've decided that what we projected
You
across.
still got some time, right?
Guys, our meeting is the 24th, or commission as a whole, it's on the 24th.
Right.
There's a budget and finance committee meeting on the 17th at 5 o'clock at the tournament.
Right.
Junior, I think our issue is legalities. We got a 10-day window, we've got to get something submitted back, so.
Right. I say y'all submit whatever y'all decide tonight,
That's
and
what I'm saying. I
then,
think you're gonna have to.
then still come.
Tonight,
that way if there's questions.
and both sides know it's not, you don't have the conflict, be an approximation. Or nothing, I mean, but it's, either way, I think you've got to give us a plan to send back to them.
Monday night is, the budget finance committee is Monday night at 5 o'clock at the tournament.
Is that a full commission or just?
No.
That's just the budget and finance committee.
It's just for 90%.
I would ask that y'all come to both meetings,
I'll be out of town the second.
if y'all can.
I'll be out of town from the 21st to the 30th.
I mean, well, I'm not gonna speculate.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we send this budget, leave it alone and send it back.
I second.
Got motion second. All in favor? Opposed? Let's go back to new business, let's go back to business that we tabled. Okay, give you money, $1,000,
That's not my money, it's whoever gets stuck on this thing.
Okay, we tabled this a while ago on the, board member appointed. That depends on who it is, whether it's Lewis serving right now, it could be, Mr. Manning 2 weeks from now, it just depends.
I made a motion and it failed.
And you made a motion, and it failed. So we're gonna go back to this thing again and open it back up for discussion. It was said, the discussions were, I said, you know, we'll do 100, that didn't go anywhere, then we decided to do 50,
But you was at 100 a month.
100 a month, and then
And we was
50
50 a
was
meeting.
per meeting.
He said 100 a month if there's one meeting or 3 meetings.
Right,
Correct.
and then they said then was $50, like the county does. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong on this now, I'm gonna ask you, you said it's $50 per meeting or $50 a month? Every time,
It's per meeting,
per meeting, every time you meet,
per committee meeting, and it's 125 per commission as a whole meeting.
okay, commission as a whole is 125, and then your committee meetings is 50. And that includes the finance and everything, okay? Now, but mine was to do 100,
Yeah. And
A month.
And the same.
but back it up,
Hey.
started, when they started this finance department.
Well,
I've been serving on that
And,
since January.
and I was thinking we ought to keep it the same and pay them the $50. Now, we need to back it up to
Yeah.
wherever you started.
Right.
Paying 50 per meeting, it's the same as the county commissioners make.
Right.
But that was my,
It's only fair. If county commissioners are getting paid $50, that's what we pay our people to.
Every meeting.
So,
Now,
I want to say this, I don't care if it's Mr. Lewis or Mark Jones. I don't think people understand. I want to make sure the time and the cost. And I'm not advocating for myself, obviously, but there's a lot of time and you're
You're
just.
making it clear because you're getting ready to appoint a new member to that committee because I'm going to step down. Because I've got hundreds of hours.
I understand that, people understand, it is, So would you
Y'all
say this?
understand what you're doing.
Are you
You're gonna
putting-
take it for $50, because Scotty took a step off the boat. I've been doing this since January 16th for zero, hundreds of hours, so I'm not arguing about how much money, and I mean, I actually, just to get all of y'all, try to get on one page at one point in time, I sent you an email, said I would do it for $1.
Yep, you did.
But nobody in here can agree on anything, so Scotty gonna step off the boat. I've lost time with a mother that's gone now, with my family that I'm not gonna lose again, and my phone blowing up sideways every day. So, pick you one for
I
$50.
will say this
any day.
too. Even on some of those meetings, we get in there that last 7 minutes, guys, your whole night is wasted. Your whole, I mean, I don't care, and I don't mean this to sound as disrespectful as coming out of my mouth. I don't care what anybody else thinks. But I really think it ought to be, and I have no dog in it, but I fight the same group.
I'm just saying,
We don't understand, you don't understand the time that goes into that.
Sylvester will vote for a while and see how they like it.
Mr. Fields, yes.
Yeah, at some point, those meetings will go back to nothing. So doing it per meeting, I don't care what y'all pay per meeting, but doing it per meeting makes more sense than $100 a month. Because at some point, when they don't have a meeting, if you do it by month, you're gonna just be paying somebody $100 for not doing a meeting.
Just
So,
want to
I like to sound greedy, which I'm not, because I did send you that email, said I did it tonight. We've been kicking this thing since January 16th, right? Okay, so, I'm submitting my resignation right now. Y'all get ready to pick you a new board member to go. And then you rock it for about 6-7 months, and your phone ring off hook, and see how much fun you having with it, because I'm done. No hard feelings.
Do I have a motion on what? If somebody wants to pay them this?
I'll make a motion, we pay $50 a meeting.
I second.
Have a motion and second. Any more discussion? If not, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes.
Doug? No. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Myself, yes.
I mean, I guess, can I vote since I just resigned?
All right. So, well, no, you're not, well, we not officially pulled you, no, you don't need to vote. So the reason, it won't be official to the next board meeting that we accept your resignation.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm forced to abstain.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it passed, we got 5 votes, so that passes $50 per meeting. All right, next thing, we tabled another.
Now, are we back paying?
Yeah, he needs to get it
Yeah,
back.
he is still that, till next Tuesday night, you're still on that, so you get back paid from tonight back $50 per meeting. So does everybody understand that completely? Okay. Now, back to discussions on a possible appointment for a legal representative for Smith County Board of Education. We've had, John, you've been to work here, I'll try to back up on it a little bit, I'll try to explain this other to you. We are looking at hiring, a person to, because, like I said, Mr. Winkler has quit. And that, Mr. Glover brought it up, he'd like to put it out and advertise it till next Tuesday. I think we've
Just
got
give
a little bit
opportunity.
of time, is that correct?
It would be legal, but that's the.
I'm just, yeah, legal is what I'm talking about. To advertise it till next Tuesday. Ms. Moore has done shown that she's interested in the job and that, we could put it out and then next Tuesday, if she's the only one that applies, and she has, then we'll vote to hire Ms. Moore.
Absolutely.
I don't think they should want it if it wasn't done the right way. I mean,
So,
Question.
yes, sir.
All right, let's say that, we'll play devil's advocate, I've been on that long. If I remember, call.
Did you call the Tennessee School Board Association?
I have called,
Guys, did they have any attorneys here that they recommended? They recommend one out of Sevierville.
Yeah, we don't need anybody to swear. But everybody remember, we have no attorney. We've got no attorney. And this one has shown up to represent us with experience on the school board. So, I just remember that, I'm not in favor of, what happens if we have three that show up? And again, y'all know me, I've always been for hiring old folk that are fast, but we're in a mess, boys. What happens if we have three show up and we do interviews on three people, and blah, 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 and it drags on and on, you know, we still have no attorney while this is happening. I mean, like he said, you think you're gonna get the grant money, but you may not. We think maybe nothing will happen, but what if it does, we don't have an attorney, because right now, this minute, we do not have one.
What is policy or law on, no attorney? Can we appoint one until we have a hire?
One is considered, like an architect is considered professional services.
We can appoint one until the hire.
One tonight, you could appoint one, you can do it like Mr. Glover, it's your choice, how you want to do it.
Yeah, if we can appoint one, until that, until, and temporary appointment until the way that needs to be done, to be advertised and everything,
But
if
advertise, but,
accept it.
if you will put in your motion, we will hire, if there's 10 attorneys show up here next Tuesday night, and we interview 10, we will hire a person next Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean,
If you'll put that in your motion.
You're saying
How are we gonna fund it?
Full-time. In other words, next Tuesday night, we hire an attorney, full-time next Tuesday night. But you can put it in the motion that we can appoint Ms. Moore as our acting attorney until next Tuesday.
Or you could just make a
If
motion,
you would,
or
Ms.
you
Moore,
could just
would
make a
you
motion
accept
to
that?
hire.
Do what?
Or just make a motion to hire.
All y'all are
I
talking.
already tried to.
Would I accept a temporary appointment? Is that what you're asking?
Well,
Yes, ma'am, we can
Next
accept.
Tuesday night.
So next Tuesday night, as a temporary lawyer for the Board, Smith County Board of Education. Then on Tuesday night, if you're the only person that has applied for this position, we will hire you full-time.
Or could we put that in there, she wouldn't need to, we need to go ahead and interview whoever that night. I mean, I don't think you're gonna have a ton of her name in it, do you?
Right.
Or just way, you don't wanna make her keep going on and on, yes or no?
Listen, just.
No, we're gonna hire a person Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will hire a person
That's what I'm
Tuesday
saying, we're
night.
gonna have to have something scheduled in there. Or you just gonna take resumes, an interview, or?
That was, can I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate you all very much, having me tonight, and I've been here trying to figure out what's going on, anticipating this change in leadership with Mr. Winkler's resignation. I do, and I know you all do a good job. I've had the opportunity of working with most of you. Some of you, Joe and Tommy, 8 years I served with them. Some of you I've served 4 years. David, I served a long time with David, and Scotty, six years, something like that. So I know you all want to do the things the right way. I want them done the right way. That's the way it was when I was a board member. The only hesitation that I have at all would be without criteria of what you're looking for, you could have whoever show up here. And without the criteria, that's unfair to the attorney that's accepting the job. And you all don't have criteria that you set forth anywhere for anybody to know what, is it number of years in practice? Is it, where they're licensed to practice, and whether it's, just state court, or is it federal court, or is it the U.S. Supreme Court, like I am. I mean, I don't know what you want, and I don't think anybody else would know either. That's the only hesitation. I mean, to answer your question, Mr. Shoulders, I will serve in whatever capacity you all would like me to serve in for as long as you want me to serve. Whether that's from now until Tuesday, or for, the next 50 years, whatever. I'll do whatever you all ask me to do.
I hope we don't need you the next week.
Well, I hope I'm not working 50 years from now. I hope I can retire.
Yeah, I was taking it all in.
Yeah, there's a lot to
I
that.
guess the motion would need to, of course, the motion being a temporary appointment, Ms. Moore, until we hired a lawyer, attorney. And we don't know that anything can happen now next Tuesday. So if I make that motion, next Tuesday comes and we can't meet, then we don't have a lawyer again. So she, in my opinion, she needs to be hired temporary until we can hire a permanent lawyer.
Okay, that's
Is
fine.
that, in our criteria, we could apply
Right.
at that time.
That's better.
I make a motion that we hire Ms. Moore for temporary attorney until we can hire a permanent lawyer.
Second.
Second.
Just a question, I'll make a second, but I have one question. Are you okay with that?
Just one question.
Yeah, I want she's okay with that, because. I
Even
think
if it's 6 months from now.
So I don't want to have to hurt.
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, I'm okay with whatever you all want. It will impact my practice. You know, as far as I will need to balance my caseload, and that's gonna have an impact, but I mean, like I said, I will do whatever you all need me to do for as long as you need me to do it.
Okay.
I mean, if that's the only way you can get, we can get you out on this thing.
I got a question. What would be the financial compensation for this temporary?
We got it in our budget right now.
I know, but what is that for a week's
Line item.
attorney?
It's so much, it's almost so much
Per hour.
Well, and I will be glad to do whatever Jamie's terms were, if it will help you all budget-wise, then I will do that.
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay, that's good enough, so.
I don't really know.
Make sure we had an amount, that's what I'm saying.
Right, yeah, I
So-
understand, like, you know, right,
So whatever we paying Jamie.
yeah, right, so.
And if you work a whole lot, I need to know before next board meeting, so I can amend the budget.
Any more discussion on it? Okay, still phone call, Mr. Glover,
Yes.
Mr. Man,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Apple,
Yes.
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 yes, unanimous. Now, my next item on the agenda is, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?